today. Something happened technology wise with OBS. But, anyways, as I was saying, you can go to my website to find out more. Usually, I have a guest here every Sunday, and I'm live Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And I usually have a guest that appears here. So, what we're going to talk about tonight, I don't have a guest for tonight, but if you want to come on the program, if you've written a book, or you belong to a mental health organization, or you're experienced in something in mental health, just feel free to email me. Go to my website and you can find my email, billmcphee62 at gmail.com, and we can set you up with a week to come on as a guest. So, what I'm going to talk about today is very, very important. And I'm going to I titled this The Secret to Recovery. And I know that it held true in my life, and I'm sure that it will hold true. It held true in many people who have recovered a lot. It helped them immensely in their struggle with mental illness. And I bet you a lot of you are going to think that, wow, but he's going to talk about medication and say that the medication is the secret to recovery. Well, it's not. Medication is a fundamental, is the foundation of getting you back into reality, getting you back into the world of logic. And in my opinion, that's how you get back into reality. But it's not the really the cure all or the what's going to guarantee you a good life. But really, the secret of recovery with mental illness, with schizophrenia, schizoaffective, bipolar, depression, and different things like that, the secret to recovery is basically this: you need to have a calendar, and you need to put tons and tons and tons of stuff on the calendar that you can go to, that you can schedule and have events to basically look forward to. And I even do that today. Today I have a calendar, and I try to fill it with things that I look forward to and complete. Now, it's very important to realize you can put lots of things on the calendar and you don't need to go to them. You could wake up one morning and say, "Oh boy, I'm supposed to be here at group, or I'm supposed to be here at the photo club." The thing is that you don't have to. At the beginning, the main thing is to do is that you just got to keep listing them on the calendar. And you may ask, well, how do I find things to do? And I want to share this with you. When I was going through my depression, on the couch, being on the couch for 5 years, literally, I had nothing to do, and I would just basically pace around the house. I would lay on the couch, and I'd do nothing. And my turning point came um, when I said, if things don't change, they're gonna stay the same. And I was scared that 5 years was going to turn into 7 years, and 7 years was going to turn into 10 years. And we see this all the time with people with mental illness who basically are just existing, and they don't have a good quality of life at all. And so I was like that. I was just my life. It sucked. It really did. It was just so terrible. I can think back on those days and still cringe. And what happened is that I said to somebody, I said, I'm gonna have to find something to do, because 5 years is gonna turn into 7 years, and 7 years into 10 years, and we see it all the time. So I thought back, way back to when I was in grade seven, and this teacher of mine, grade seven teacher, said to me one day, she said, "Bill, if you don't learn how to write properly in life, you're never gonna amount to anything." And what she meant by writing properly was my penmanship. I had very, very poor penmanship. I wrote, I wrote like chicken scratch. It was terrible. But I remember that negative thing that that teacher said to me. She said, "Bill, if you don't learn to write properly in life, you'll never amount to anything." So what I did is I remembered that and I said, well, I'm going to prove to somebody that I can do something. And what I did is I phoned the Fort Erie Literacy Foundation. And I said, listen, I said, I know how to read and I know how to write and that, but I have bad penmanship. Can you send someone over? Well, a couple of weeks later, Martha Mason, she comes to my house. My parents living at my parents' house at the time. She came to the house, and Martha was a volunteer at the Literacy Foundation, and she said that she was going to teach me penmanship. And Martha was also going to Niagara College for social work, and she was also the executive director of the Big Brothers and Big Sisters organization, and in Fort Erie. And so she would come every 2 weeks, and we would basically go through these books, and we'd do penmanship exercises. Well, before long, Martha learned more about schizophrenia from me than I did penmanship from her. And actually, I did interview Martha. Martha is in one of our videos here. If you go to my YouTube channel and just type Bill McPhee into YouTube, and you'll find I have over 400 videos there. And you could see Martha on an interview that I did maybe a couple months ago. I did that interview. But anyways, so um, Martha learned more about schizophrenia from me than I did penmanship from her. But Martha took an interest in me, and she said, Bill, she says, I know that you're not doing much, which was an understatement. I wasn't doing much, but she said to me, she said, Bill, she said, um, I go to school, I go to Niagara College. She said, why don't you take a course and there, and I will drive you because at the time my license was suspended, and she asked me, and she was going to Niagara College for social work, and she said, I'll drive you to school, take a course. Well, at the time, dealing with my depression, I wasn't even really showering or shaving and brushing my teeth and everything like that, and so I thought, oh my God, go to school, go to school. That means I have to wash my hair and brush my teeth and shave, all these things that are difficult to do, dealing with schizophrenia and the negative symptoms or the deficit symptoms of schizophrenia. But I went, I said to myself, I said, well, okay, I'll go to school. And I signed up for a photography course. And Martha would come every week. And every day when that week came, I would say, oh my God, tonight I got to go to school. I got to wash my hair and I got to brush my teeth and I have to shave. These things that are very difficult to do with negative symptoms or deficit symptoms. But I would do that, and Martha would come, she'd pick me up, and would go to school. And I took these photography courses. Now, I went through the routine, and I did the courses and the dark room stuff and the field trips and took pictures and different things like that. But I still had that emotional bluntness, that emotional blandness, and I had that emotional bluntness, that that lack of motivation, the lack of joy. And I went to school and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy going to it, but I went through the motions. I kept going and I just kept on going with Martha. And then Martha would come over and we'd do penmanship exercises as well. And then one day, Martha's on the phone and she says, Bill, I'm the seventh group chairperson of the Fort Erie Scouts, Beavers, and Cubs, and we need a treasurer. How would you like to be our treasurer? And I thought, oh my God, that means I'd have to wash my hair and shave and brush my teeth and all these things that are difficult to do with deficit or negative symptoms. But I said, okay, Martha, I'll come. I'll come to your stupid meeting. Well, I went to that meeting, and that was truly is a turning point of my illness. Was a turning point of my life. And I went to that meeting, and I ended up meeting Martha's husband and her children. I ended up meeting Peter, who eventually I started playing racquetball and squash with. And I started out helping out with Apple Day and Cub Car and camp outs and things like that. And really, what it did is it gave me a whole new social network of people who accepted me for who I was and what I had, or what I was, and not what I had of schizophrenia. So they accepted me for who I was. And that was a turning point of my social life where I now had things to do, where I would be doing the exercise, the penmanship exercises with Martha. I'd be going to school for photography. I'd be going to the meetings for the 740 Cubs groups and Cub uh, Cub Scouts and Beavers. I was starting to play racquetball and squash with my friend Peter, and again, it gave me a whole social network of uh, of things to do. And I carried on with that, and I would read the community newspaper. And if there was, some a travel log at the library, or if there was a new club starting up or something like that, I would attend. Attend all these things. And really, what happened is that I would have a calendar now, and I'd always be looking for things to go to and looking for things to look forward to. And I'd put these things on the calendar, and maybe sometimes if I really didn't feel like going, I wouldn't. But it gave me options, it gave me choices. And really, that was the turning point of my illness. Um, and I can't stress how important socializing and getting social and filling up your calendar and filling up your time is so important to recovery. And yeah, and it's just so important. And I do that today. Today, I mean, even today, so many years later. I mean, that was way back in probably I was diagnosed in 1987, so that was probably 5 years after that. For 5 years, I was doing nothing. And so even today, like I look for like with the virus going on, COVID-19, a lot of things are shut down, but we have Zoom meetings. So on Tuesdays, we have a Zoom meeting with my coffee club that we meet from the church. On Wednesdays, I do a Bible study over Zoom. On Thursday, we do another Zoom meeting and talk about the Sunday service and different things like that. So I'm always putting things on the calendar to look forward to, events from the church or things that are going on town, or if I want to see a band, or go anywhere, a function. And that's what happens, and that is so important. And the neat thing about that is that even though we may not be totally in reality, we could still be a little bit paranoid, or we can still be a little bit delusional, and we can still be a little bit, dealing with the negative symptoms. But to socialize and to go places, we don't need really to be well to do that. There's lots of places, and a lot of places that we can go, that we can maybe not participate but take a back seat in, but just go there. Political parties, if you're political, you could get involved in that. You can join a photography club, you can join a book club. Online, if you have a computer, there's many groups that there are that you can join. I have a couple groups that I join, mental health groups that I participate in. And there's just a whole load of things that you can look. If you look in your community newspaper, try to be creative. But that's the secret of recovery, is to find things to put onto your calendar that you can look forward to. And I do that. I look forward to so many things, and it's what gets you through on things. So, anyways, so if you'd like to come on the broadcast, feel free to email me or go to my website. Again, if you would like to get my book or read the first chapter free, you can go to my website, billmcphee.ca, and you can sign up for my newsletter, and you'll get a welcome letter with a link to the first chapter free. You can read that. And yeah, so all kinds of things are going on. So that's I'm just gonna make this short. I just wanted to share with you the secret of recovery, and truly that is so important. You may think it'd be a simple thing, but I'm telling you, it truly is amazing. If you try that, it will change your life. It really will. Um, what else did I want to say? Oh, I also wanted to just say before I close here is that I'm writing another book. I'm in the process of writing a book on suicide. It's called Over the Edge and Back, and it's about people who have had suicide attempts but who like their life now, who like their life, who love their life. And right at the moment, I'm in the process of writing one profile, but I'm looking for in the future. I'm looking for somebody from Vancouver, Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. If somebody out there in the audience knows somebody who had a suicide attempt and is coping, or who likes their life now, I'd really appreciate it for a heads up, and we could put them in the book if they want to tell their story. So I just want to put a plug into that. So I'm gonna say now I'm gonna end in a minute here, but this is the place where with our group helping parents of mentally ill children, I want to pray for them, and just as a Christian, I pray. You may not be a praying person, or you not be that. So this would be, if you might roll your eyes and say, "Oh, he's gonna pray." This might be a good time for you to tune out, but that's fine. And in a minute, I'm just gonna pray for the parents and the people who are going through mental health. And then we'll see you next week, next Sunday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, always live at that time. So tune in, tell your friends, and you can see the replays on this. So learn more about me, and I encourage you to get my book. It will really help you to really understand mental illness and schizophrenia. So, okay, thank you. And Lord, we just ask that you would just help and bless those parents out there who are dealing with children who have mental illness. We pray, Lord, that you'd give them patience and understanding, and give them strategies, and give them help, give them understanding and education, and give them hope. And we know, Lord, that there is hope out there, and that there is help out there, and we just pray that you just help them. For the people, Lord, who are going through a mental illness, Lord, we pray that you'd help them. We'd help that you would quiet their mind, that you'd bring them back into reality, into the world of logic, and that you'd help them in practical ways, help them with their sleeping, help them with their socializing skills, help them with their calendar, and just bless them, Lord. And we just thank you for all that you do in our lives. So, folks, thank you for tuning in, and we ask that you would just there. Oh, you know what? Just before I go, somebody has a question. Just before I go, I'm gonna answer. Let me just go. So let me just type in and ask them the question. Okay, what is your question? This is from Ron. Okay, we'll see. What is your question? Okay, see if they come back. What is your question? Waiting for them to come back in the chat here. What is your question? Let's see. Just waiting. I think it's from Ron. Ron, do you have a question? If not, we're going to wrap it up. Ron, are you there with a question? If not, we're going to wrap it up. Okay, everybody. Well, Ron, you can email me. You can email me at billmcphee62@gmail.com, and I'll answer your question off the air. But for everybody, have a great night. May God bless, and we'll see you next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye bye for now.